Chico, what's new, man?
Oh man, Smallz, we back in, man. This is, people was complaining that I was here too much at first, so gave it a little break. People, people was like, "This motherfucker must live together." So,
I've seen those comments too.
Yeah, definitely, man. But just working, Smallz, man. Out here trying to keep it pushing, man. That's all.
Are we ever gonna see a Chico Bean Netflix special?
Yeah. They got the money. They giving it out. They giving it out. Shit, you might see a Discovery Channel Chico Bean special.
Now, you've done a special before, right?
Yeah, it was a Wild 'N Out special. You know what I mean? We shot them 3 years ago now, I think. And it was, just being able to do stand-up on television for the first time, it was dope. And, you just build up a repertoire so when they do come for you, you ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a time to build quality sets, at least. You know what I mean? To build a quality set that you want to give to the people. And it takes, a significant amount of time for you to master who you are on stage. And I've been blessed in my regard for my process on stage because, I'm just naturally talented. I'm naturally gifted, man. God bless me. So I know that when the time comes, it's going to be worth it. You know what I'm saying? But you got to keep pushing. You can't be like, man, fuck, I ain't got no goddamn special. Shit. Yeah, I mean, you ignoring everything else that you got going on that's gonna get you the attention, and that that hinders your blessings to me. Like to me, it's like I don't like to worry about, what I'm going to do. I like to worry about what I'm doing and being the best at that as I possibly can. So, it's a marathon to me, man. It's not a sprint. So.
When it comes to, so like something with the special, right? Is that something that you put on and you project to the world, hey, I want a special? Is this something you seek? Or is this something where, great minds think alike and say, Chico, we need to do a special on you?
It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. You project it out into the world by the work that you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no different than what you do, Smallz. You're projecting that you want to be, you're a media personality.
Right.
You're taking a media personality role. You're no different than the anchor on CNN. They just don't see your face. Mm-hmm. But you're projecting out into the world like, hey, this is what I do. And as people start to see that, then they're going to be like, hey, we need this from you. So that's basically what it is. It's a combination of both. Your work projects out what you're going to attract. So the more you work and the better you get and the more people see you, then the more rumblings are going to go on and they're going to be like, oh, wait a minute. We need to come on and give you some of this money.
Were you the first person to do like the Wild 'N Out comedy special?
No, it was a group of us. Myself, Carlos, who else did the first season? Doughboy, shit.
So it wasn't a solo stand-up special?
No. I mean, well, it was a solo stand-up special, but it was grouped together like we all were on the show. It was the MTV Wild 'N Out Presents, and it was the stand-up special. Everybody did like a set for the stand-up special, half an hour. Yeah, half an hour special.
I see, I get it.
Yeah.
What was the reaction to yours?
The reaction was dope, man. You know what I mean? And it's such a small snippet of what I do, but it's a great kind of like buffer to when people come see me live. You know what I mean? When people come see me live, they are always like, oh my God, like I watch you on TV, but it doesn't really translate, because you can be great on screen and people don't know, because a lot of people think Wild 'N Out is scripted and think we in there, knowing what we doing. So when people come see you live and see that you are, just engulfed in the talent that you've been blessed with, and you just giving it to the people all different kind of ways. Like, yeah, you watch me on TV, what I do on TV is dope, but watch this too. And then watch this as well. So, it's been great because it's just been drawing people towards, the content and everything that I put out, man. So it's dope.
Now, have you been feeling like people been requesting a special from you?
Yeah, like DJ Smallz every time we talk. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I text you like, Smallz, what's good? Waiting on your special, motherfucker. Like, damn, Smallz. But yeah, of course.
I would like to personally see that.
Oh yeah, of course, man. But it's inspirational to me. When people come up to me and, man, well, you need your own show. You need to do this. You need to do that. It just means that people have a understanding or expectation of the talent that you possess, and they just want to see it more. So it's definitely been requested, man. And I've been in great positions and great spirits, man. And I've been blessed tremendously. So I know it's coming. There's no doubt about it. Like, I know it's coming, and it's just a matter of when I get it, everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, we've been talking about this for how long? I remember I used to watch you on Smallz with the white background. Y'all used to talk about this shit. That's what is great for me, because people come up to me and talk about things that I've done now that we talked about in interviews that I did when I first started, doing these joints with you. So it's a great progression, man, in regards to when you get to that mountaintop and you get to look back at all of the things that you've accomplished on the way up, man. I love that. So I'm excited about the journey.
Netflix just seems to be spearheading this comedy. I don't know what you call it, but they are just going hard with these comedy specials. They seem to be doing everybody.
Of course, because it's, to me, Netflix is trying to kill the movie theater. The actual movie theater. And that's the grand scheme of what I believe Netflix to be trying to do.
I never looked at it that way.
Yeah, but as far as stand-up goes, that content is limitless and it's timeless. It never goes out of style because there's always a new perspective and always somebody giving you a new perspective. And the world is constantly turning, so there's always something that you want to hear another person's perspective on in an interesting way. You want to have somebody make you laugh about the things that you go through on a daily basis and make you feel like, oh man, it's not that bad. And there's always somebody doing it, and there's always groups of people, large groups of people who share your, mentality that'll come in and support you and come and see you. And Netflix knows that. So Netflix is kind of spearheading the movement of, hey, you don't need to go to the big networks. You don't need to go to HBO. You don't need to go to Showtime. You don't need to go to these television networks that have been kind of had the game in the cobra clutch for all of these years. Now we're an internet streaming source where people are going to get the content directly to them, and you're going to be able to reap the benefits in regards to when you go out here and do live shows and when you go sell your merchandise and all of that type of stuff. So it works, man. Netflix is definitely killing it, and that's why they got so much money to give out, because it's direct to consumer. You know what I mean? There is no middleman. It's here it is. We give you, here go $250,000, shoot a special. You know what I mean? And we're going to put it directly to consumer, and people going to be able to click it on their TV in their living room and watch it. And then, you might not, that $250,000, you might spend the whole $250 on the special. You might not pay yourself a dime. But once people see it and they get the content, you'll go make that back like that out on the road.
Now, the diversity of the comedians that they've been doing these specials with is incredible. I've seen comics with different backgrounds. I've seen gay comics, straight comics, Hindu comics. They're taking like all the different ethnicities, the best in those ethnicities, and man, it's just
Netflix, man. Everybody, you got to think about it. You have to do that because there's a Hindu person sitting in their living room. There's a gay person sitting in their living room, and they all want to see something that they want to see. And Netflix is providing that. You know what I mean? You might not get that type of content on a major network because you have to fit a certain description. You have to fit into whatever the itinerary is for that time period of that network. So you might not see the content and people might be asking for it, and it's always going to be consumed because whether or not you see it or not, like somebody has never seen my special, but I can't count how many people have seen me perform live since I've been doing this. So those are people who know and they want it. So they'll be fiending for it from a major network. But sometimes, the chips just don't fall. That's a cold game. This entertainment industry itself is just a cold game in general. So when you have somebody like Netflix who's willing to say, hey, you know what, we just going to do it this way. Don't have to worry about going and sitting in a whole bunch of meetings. Everything that you would want happen with a major network, we're going to give you all that, and people going to be able to watch it over and over and over again on command. So you can't beat that.
I'm just surprised that I would think that out of all the people that would do something like this, I would just think naturally a channel like Comedy Central would be on top of something like this.
I mean, they have been, but it's hard, man. People can't afford cable. You understand? So a lot of the content that comes on Comedy Central, a lot of people are not going to be able to see that because they can't afford to pay for all of the other channels that you got to pay for. You understand? You might want to watch comedy all day, but you got to pay for MSNBC and the Weather Channel as well. You got to pay for all that. So people decide to get Netflix. That's a $6.99, $7.99 a month subscription. God damn. Prescription, bro. Damn, you might have, you thought I was on some of that shit right there, Smallz. But subscription. Yeah, you thought I was on some of that legal lean, my nigga. God damn. I just called the subscription the prescription. But yeah, it's $6, $7.99 a month. And you get all of that. You get hundreds of comedy specials. So you can't compete with, you can compete with it, but it's hard to compete with that because you got to delve into the digital world too to kind of compete with it. So they putting a strong foothold down on the game right now.
Have you thought about like when it is comes that time to do your own special, and if it's on Netflix, have you thought about like the location where you would do it at, or what city
Yeah,
you
yeah,
would do it
definitely,
at?
yeah, yeah. You know, of course, me being from Washington D.C. and just the reception, man. I did a show in D.C. In January at the Warner Theater, which is a major theater, you know what I mean, in my city, and it was just amazing. You know, my mom had never came to a show before, like, you know, not because she didn't want to come, just because she's like, go ahead, baby, do your thing, I love you, and that was always cool enough for me. But when she heard I was going to be at the Warner Theater, she was like, oh, I'm coming to that, because, you know, being from Washington, D.C., like, that's where all the major players come, and I got to do a show there, and I mean, when I tell you it was amazing, Smallz, like, just the content that I got to talk about being home and being in my city, like, just the things that, you know, and that's the thing, when you're shooting a special, you got to be a little bit mindful that you have to spread the content to where it's, you know, understandable universally, but it just felt good to be home and talking about things that was funny to me growing up, on the things that made me who I am, that made me into this person that's sitting here in front of you. So I would definitely consider Washington, D.C. to be a top option. I started doing comedy in North Carolina, which is a great place in regards to support, man. People, if they love you down there, they love you, man. And you know, and I'm not from North Carolina, but I went to school down there, and I started my comedy career down there. And it's not a hotbed of, you know, when you mention places, that's probably not going to be a place that's mentioned if you think about, you know, places where people want to pick to try to upstart their career. But I was able to do that, and you know, I will always and forever have love for the whole state of North Carolina, especially the tri-area, for doing that. So that would be a place. And then New York, you know what I mean? Of course, the Mecca in regards to, you know, the specials, and, you know, and then another place would be Houston, man. Like, I love Houston, Texas.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, Houston, Texas would be dope, man. Just the environment and, you know, just the city itself, just all the culture that's down there. Like, Houston is dope too. So yeah, I definitely have considered places, names, all that, man. Like, you know, when I got into this business, man, and started doing this as a career, like, these are my aspirations and goals, and it just so happens that I had a plan for myself, and I'm still working that plan. So it's all in the working, but, you know, you sit around and you dream about things, just like I'm sure you do, Smallz, sit around and just see what it's gonna look like. And you know what I mean? I'm sitting here looking at awards from YouTube, like, I'm sure you envisioned that when you first started doing these interviews, and now it's sitting up on a plaque. So it's just about figuring out what you wanna do, making a plan if you can, if you're that type of person. If not, just making sure you consistently work hard and work your mo, man, and just do it until it starts to show some fruit.